Welcome to the podcast, Like You Didn't Know. So tonight's very special because if you know me, you know I do not like being on camera. But somebody that is blocked and will not be named told me that I'm pretty, so I should get on camera and get more likes and followers and all that good stuff. So we're gonna try it, see how it works. If y'all like it, cool. If you don't, it's whatever. I probably will never do it again. We'll see. So this episode's gonna be short, but probably gonna be kind of long, depending on how long I talk and how tired I get of looking at myself. But we'll get started. So this week's scary movie of the week is called Bodies, 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 and it's on. I think I saw it on Prime, maybe. It's on something, and Hulu, one of them, probably Prime. If you Google, look it up on Prime, it'll definitely show up for you. But so it's basically a movie about these rich kids that go on we'll say an adventure. They stay in one of their friends' houses, mansions. Let me say mansions, to weather out a storm that's coming, because I guess that's something rich people do. So they went and stayed. I think they were staying there for like maybe a couple days or whatever. But I guess they're friends, but not really, because it seems like they hadn't really known each other in a while or seen each other in a while. So basically, they get to the mansion and they're hanging out, drinking, having fun, whatever. And in particular, one girl ends up showing up that's not rich, and she's dating one of the little rich girls. And so basically something happens, and they while they're playing this game called Bodies, 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 and it's like a whole bunch of murders basically happen because of this game, which of course is played in the dark, and someone died and no one knows what happens. So people start blaming each other, blah blah blah, but you get to the end and it's like a twist, and you find out all the murders were for nothing basically, and all these bodies have piled up, and it's just a few people left. But it's more of a slasher than a horror movie. But it's a good movie to me. It's got Pete Davidson in it, which is what kind of made me want to watch it, because I kind of wanted to see him die. But other than that, I recommend it. It's definitely graphic. Not really a lot of sexual content, more like innuendos and cursing and stuff. Still probably not kid friendly, but definitely recommend it if you don't like the typical horror movies that I talk about, like the demon possession and whichever ones I've talked about, the other movies that I've mentioned. If you don't like those, maybe you'll like this one. So on this week's Weirdest Way to Die, we have someone that's, I guess, Nashville famous, probably other states too, but it's definitely in Tennessee. As soon as I mention the name, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But apparently, you can die from stubbing your toe, or I guess breaking anything that causes an infection, basically. So a world famous distiller that I'm pretty sure everybody in Tennessee knows, Jack Daniels, actually died because he stubbed his toe in anger and it got infected, and I probably ended up giving him like sepsis or whatever disease or deadly infection you can get from stubbing your toe. So he actually stubbed his toe and ended up dying, which is ironic, especially since he stole the recipe from Uncle Nearest anyway. But I thought it was interesting. Never would have thought that would be the demise of a famous whiskey distiller, whatever you want to call him. But apparently his last words were another drink. So I guess at least he liked his Jack Daniels, even if I personally like Uncle Nearest a little better. Actually, I'm more prone to the Jim Beam lately. Don't really know anything about him, but that seems to be my drink of choice lately. Jack just ain't doing it for me anymore, and I don't know why. So I've always said I never want to go to Alabama. And I've been through Alabama, but I've never actually stopped in Alabama. But I've just heard so many weird, crazy things happening in Alabama. Not only the racism, but just weird stuff that happens in Alabama. And for that reason, I just kind of really don't want to go to that state. But apparently one of the Alabama also has crazy laws on top of the crazy people. So one of the crazy laws is that you cannot drive blindfolded, which I don't know why they needed to make that a law, because common sense would tell you you probably need your eyes to see where you're going. But apparently it was enough of a problem that they felt the need to make it a law. Now, I don't know when. I didn't do a bunch of research to see when the law came into effect, but I have researched other laws, and sometimes a lot of states have laws that have been, they're in the books and they're still technically valid, but of course no one enforces them. And I kind of suspect that this is one that just they put in place and just never said, oh, maybe we need to take that out the books or make it no longer valid. But I guess if you feel the need to drive blindfolded, just don't do it in Alabama because it's illegal there. So this week's main topic is one that I've kind of been wanting to do for a while, which is kind of why I wanted to be on camera, so you can see my facial expressions. But I kind of wish I had like the actual products to show you, but yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody will know every single one that I've mentioned. I've probably eaten them many times, just like I have. But this week I wanted to do the worst foods that you can eat in America, just because I mean health is it's pretty important to me, and I do eat junk food and I'll eat out every now and then, and I don't always eat the healthiest even when I cook at home, but because I definitely will throw down on some Rotel every now and then. But eating healthy is still extremely important, especially with all the health issues and diseases people have to deal with these days, just from the stuff that's in our food and our bad eating habits, and just being busy and not having time to sit and cook like you should. And I mean, I'm guilty of probably not eating enough fruits and vegetables. Well, I try, but it's still probably not enough. I do take my vitamins and all that good stuff. But so I just want to kind of go through a couple, maybe I think it's like 10 or 11 unhealthy foods. Like I said, that we've pretty much all eaten. And I was kind of surprised because the top one is one that I've eaten a lot of times. I'm ashamed to say, even as an adult living on my own, I've definitely eaten it a lot. Hell, I might still have some in my cabinet if I haven't thrown them away. But let's get into it. So number one is Pop-Tarts. And the main reason is because there's 3 types of sugars, which is white sugar, corn syrup, and high fructose corn syrup, which is, we can pretty much, it's safe to say high fructose corn syrup is in about everything that we eat these days. But as any type of research will show you, all those, but especially high fructose corn syrup, comes with an increased risk of diabetes and heart disease. The second one, I've also eaten a lot of times, which I don't really eat at this restaurant much anymore because the last time I did, my stomach was all messed up. So I just said, nah, let me just not even try. And I've had bad experiences with this restaurant. I've had the last time I went to the one closest to, well, not even closest to me, the one in Laverne, there was hair in the fries. So I didn't go back to that one anymore. But so this restaurant is ding 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 Arby's. And the food that they chose, that's like the top, which is probably for one reason, probably because a lot of people eat it, because of course you go there and get a sandwich, your meal is not complete without fries and a drink. But the curly fries in particular, which have 650 calories, and of course they're fried in the oil, the bad oil basically, that contains a lot of trans fats, and of course eating anything fried can lead to inflammation, heart disease, and impaired artery function. Add that on top of eating it with the sandwich as well, and you probably got over 1,000 calories, which is pretty much the limit that you're supposed to have for the whole entire day. So number 3 is also something I've eaten many times, I'm ashamed to say, and it's even somewhat recently, and I haven't eaten it in a while because I haven't really ate out like that other than like sushi. But Popeyes, which I mean, we all know Popeyes. You like to think that it's real chicken. It probably really isn't, but I feel like Popeyes is not really on the healthier version, but to me, it's like a step up from KFC and Chick-fil-A, but apparently not. Because, which I don't eat, I've never eaten the chicken tenders, but Popeye's chicken tenders is one of the ones that they said specifically was the worst that you could get. Of course, it contains trans fats from the oil that it's fried in. And of course, we know that those can lead to heart disease, obesity, and of course, increased belly fat storage, which, I mean, I say I have a belly. Other people don't think I have a belly, but I feel like a lot of it is because of my food choices back in the day, which I'm trying to kind of curb now, which I've been doing pretty good because I really don't eat out like at all. Like I said, I ate sushi last week, I think, but that's about the most eat out I'll do lately. And surprised, I thought this was interesting, but trans fats are actually outlawed in Europe. Of course, nothing is outlawed in America. We'll just say that. They'll put any and everything in our food, and it's sad that you could look at the back and still not even know what it is, because these companies have found ways to get around actually putting the real ingredient on there. They'll put it in a form that you Google it, it doesn't know what it is, but legally it's on there. So I guess it's valid. But pretty much my golden rule is if it's in a package, it's probably not really good for you. And you really have to look and read the actual ingredients on it. Number 4, which I've never eaten because I really don't eat at this restaurant, but I know it's a big, every time I walk by it in the mall, the few times I do go, there's lines around the block to stop at this place, but Cinnabon, and they said particularly the caramel pecan bon, which I'm guessing is maybe like a cinnamon roll or something. I don't know, I've never had it. But whatever it is, it's got 1,800 calories, well, 1,080 calories, which is, I think you're supposed to have like 1,200 in a day. So I mean, the rest of what you eat the rest of that day should probably be like fruit. 75 grams of carbs from sugar, of course, which is double the or 12 times the recommended amount, or double the recommended amount of what you should have in a day. This next one, I drank a lot in college, and I actually had it maybe like a couple months ago. Thankfully, I don't go to this restaurant or store that often, but when I do go, this is like my thing to get. So this is like devastating for me. But it's the Starbucks white chocolate mocha frappuccino, which is like that's the only drink I ever get there. I will never deviate from it. And then on top of that, I add caramel because you have to. It's like you must. So it's got 520 calories. I don't know what they didn't specify what size it was, but it's probably the tall, which is the one that I get, which is, if you've ever been to Starbucks, the tall is the smallest one. So think 520 calories, that's over half of what you should have in a day. And typically if I eat Starbucks, it's either maybe in the morning. I think the last time I had it was like in the evening actually, and then I ate dinner. So I mean, imagine how many calories that was just from that. And then so a fun fact that I found interesting was drinking liquid calories doesn't give you that same, or trigger that same feeling full mechanism. So like I said, I drank the whole thing and then went and ate dinner. And so I probably had, and that was dinner. So that means I ate breakfast and lunch because I eat 3 meals a day. So that was like the end of my day, which I didn't eat all my food, which was probably good, but still, that was probably way too many calories for that day, even with me working out or whatever. So the number 6 is Outback Steakhouse, their actual blooming onion, which I think I've only had it once because I typically don't get appetizers when I go out places, but I know a lot of people do because you're probably waiting for your meal. But it's like It's 1,954 calories. Let me say that again. 1,954 calories. The amount of calories you should have, recommended amount of calories in a day is 1,200. So it's over the amount of calories that you should have, and it's your appetizer. That, to me, it should be illegal, honestly. It's mind-boggling. It blows my mind that companies will knowingly serve this stuff, knowing that it's death. Like, it's literally killing us. And people are going, oh, it's onions. Well, how's onions bad? It's fried, but yeah, it's onions. Number 7, I don't think I've ever had this from Burger King, their Oreo milkshake. But I have had shakes from restaurants, so I imagine they probably are comparable to this too. But it has 730 calories, 121 grams of carbs, and 100 of those are from sugar. All the sugar is fructose, which high fructose corn syrup, as we know, is death for us. And of course, fructose has been shown to contribute to heart disease, insulin resistance, and obesity. Number 8, I've also eaten a lot of these in my day. I don't really eat them now because I don't really eat a lot of red meat or anything. But as a kid, I know we used to have these in the refrigerator, and I used to buy them when I was living on my own because they're quick, easy. Quick little pop it in the microwave, pop it in the oven, squeeze you some mustard and ketchup, and you're done. Maybe eat a salad or something with it. Lately, they don't even taste like they used to when I was a kid. Like, even when you get the more natural ones, they still are, it's something about them just don't taste the same. So I haven't eaten them in years. But corn dogs. Of course, any processed meat is linked to increased risk of colon cancer, heart disease. And then on top of it being processed meat, it's also deep fried in vegetable oil, which is not really good for you either. The next one, I don't even really like this restaurant. I like their coffee, but I've never really eaten their food there. But Dunkin' Donuts glazed jelly stick, which sounds disgusting if you think about it. But the first 3 ingredients are refined wheat flour, sugar, and soybean oil. And as we know, or if you don't know, I'm here to let you know that when you look at the list of ingredients on something, the first 3 are the highest amount, or the first ingredients are the highest. So it goes in descending order. So whatever is at the top, that's what's in the highest quantity in the product. Of course, frequent consumption of those items is linked to inflammation, insulin resistance, and obesity again. Number 10, I used to drink more of them when I was a kid, but I've never really been a big soda drinker as it is. But I'm pretty sure everybody knows that soda is like the devil when it comes to anything, and diet soda is not any better. So don't think that you're being more healthy because you're drinking diet. In fact, it's probably worse because it's got that high fructose corn syrup plus that fake sugar to make it sweet, whatever they put in it. You do better just getting regular sugar, honestly, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I do not offer any medical advice. This is solely my opinion, but in my mind, it's better. Of course, it has a high fructose content, and consuming a lot of it, which I know some people that, I'm not gonna say that this is why they died of brain cancer, but they used to drink liters of soda every day. I'm gonna leave it at that. It increases your risk of heart disease and obesity again. Cheese fries is number 11 on my list anyway. Of course, it has high amounts of sodium and fat. Well, French fries by themselves are already terrible for you, especially even if they're frozen, because they were fried at one time. Even if they're frozen and you put them in the oven, remember they were still fried because of French fries. So of course, anything fried, trans fats is present. Adding cheese, we use that term loosely because it's probably not even real cheese. Adding cheese on top of it just makes it that more unhealthy. And then of course, I've never seen anybody just eat cheese and fries. They normally have maybe some meat of some sort on it, maybe ketchup, I don't know, ketchup, hot sauce, whatever you want to add to it. But either way, it's you're making it even more unhealthy than it already is. This one really, because I never, and I've tried to like be really healthy and get rid of like the bleach stuff and all this other stuff, and I completely forgot about the flour, like completely, which I don't use a lot of flour, thankfully, but I do use it. And I have a thing of flour in my cabinet that's, or my whatever cabinet, whatever you want to call it, pantry, that's been used pretty regularly. And I know I just used it, like I think I cooked chicken, orange chicken, like not too long ago, and it had flour on it. Thankfully, I don't ever really use a lot, but I mean, I didn't even think that it's bleached, which is the same reason I stopped using like regular sugar. I use the like the brown sugar, whatever you call it. I don't even know what kind of sugar it is in the brown packet, whatever the sugar is. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I use that sugar because I try to avoid the actual bleach sugar, and because it has molasses in me, I think it tastes better. But surprisingly, Australia and Europe have banned bleached white flour. Why is the United States not banning this? Because they don't give a damn about us. The sooner people realize that, the better off we'll be. Not only that, it contains ADA, which is an additive that makes dough fluffier and more elastic, which is mostly what people use flour for. And so I'm thinking a lot of people that eat a lot of baked goods and stuff, like from stores and stuff, unless they specifically say that they don't use bleached flour, I'm pretty sure you can assume that they do. So apparently this additive breaks down in heat and turns into a carcinogen, because of course it does. And I don't understand why this product is still being sold in the United States. Or like, why are we consuming this? I've been eating flour since probably before birth, because I would bet money that my mom, my dad, everybody that I was around had flour in their diet in some way, shape, or form. It's disturbing, the kind of foods and stuff that we're allowed to eat in America and that people feed their kids. Because I'm like, if you know that this additive turns into a carcinogen, which is something that causes cancer, which is why and again, I'm not a doctor, this is just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure I can say this on pretty high accuracy. Majority of us have cancer in our bodies. Now, it may not be active or it may not be spreading, but it's pretty much in us. It's just waiting for that trigger to make the cells start multiplying or whatever. The number 13, which I have a long time ago switched to a different kind anyway, but coffee creamer, which I'm assuming it's more so the kind that it says it has cream and doesn't really have cream. Now, these days you can get the more natural kinds, but even those brands, you still have to watch, you still have to look at the ingredients. You still have to make sure that you know what you're actually drinking, which is why I've switched to like the plant-based ones that, and even then, some of the ingredients in them I'm not really sure are healthy, because I feel like I said, anything that's packaged, assume it's bad for you. So, coffee creamer, like I said, they don't always have cream. They substitute the cream with monoglycerides and diglycerides, which are bad. I don't know what they mean, but you can research it if you want to know. Number 14 is sugar cereals, which I've eaten tons of those. I used to always keep Trix or Cocoa Puffs or little squares with the cinnamon toast crunch, whatever. I used to have them all. Used to eat them all. Lucky Charms. Used to love Lucky Charms. It's like my favorite cereal. But of course, we know they contain sweeteners and preservatives when you think about it, because how often have you had a box of cereal in your cabinet for months and nothing happened to it? Like, me and my coworkers were talking about the fact that they got the buns for like our monthly meal that we have. And those buns were on there on the counter for about a year, probably. Quite a few months. It had changed seasons. That's how long they were sitting up there. And the packages had been opened and they had not molded. They were still fluffy, probably because they had that flour in there with the carcinogens in it. But like, imagine what that stuff is doing to your body if it can sit on the counter in open air and even mold won't grow on it. Like imagine what it's actually made out of. Not only preservatives, but of course cereals also have food coloring and artificial flavors, which we all know this. And then the last one that I did was TV dinners, because I have definitely been guilty of TV dinners because they're just so much easier when I know that I'm not gonna have time to cook. So I just grab a TV dinner and take it to lunch the next day, which I think, I don't remember when this article was written, but I do think that TV dinners have come a long way now, because I know there are certain brands that have like the plant-based bowl, and at least they say they don't have any preservatives or anything, because you don't need preservative if it's frozen. That's the whole point of freezing it, is to keep it from messing up. But majority of the other TV dinners, the real cheap ones that people buy, that probably cost $1.99 still, they use, and this may be the better ones too, because they say that they use liquid nitrogen to extend the shelf life, which, I mean, I don't even think I need to explain that liquid nitrogen is bad for your body. But like, it's not, you can't even touch it without it literally burning off your skin. So imagine it being put on your food and then you eating it. I would bet money that that's another carcinogen. And not only that, does it have the liquid nitrogen that's used to probably freeze it originally, because why can't they just put it in a freezer? But whatever. It also has excess sodium, of course, and then partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, which I mean, if you don't know, now you know. Any of those oils are not good for you, basically. I really only use olive oil because it comes from olives. Like I said, I am not a doctor. I cannot prescribe any sort of medical advice or anything. I'm only giving you the information that I researched and have learned throughout my short 35 years of life. But I would just say, if you can, try your best to, like, for one, cook at home. Like, it's a meal prep, however you do it. I do I'll cook like 2 meals a week, maybe, if that, depending. I probably should do more, but I'm lazy and I don't feel like cooking all the time. But at least 2 meals a week. I know if you have kids, it may be a little harder, but guess what? They can either go hungry or they can eat what you cook. Also, I mean, read the ingredients. Just because it's on the shelf, do not think that it's good for you just because it's there. And as I heard a long time ago, if it's right in front of your face, it's probably the cheapest and the worst for you. Like, stores don't want you to reach for the better stuff. They want you to buy the cheap stuff that they make in bulk, that they get probably at little or nothing for these companies, and then upcharge us $10, $20. But just be conscious of what you're putting in your body, because like I said, I feel like cancer is in all of us. It's just sitting there waiting to be waiting for that trigger to start multiplying. But that's this week's episode. Hopefully you like it and you don't get tired of seeing my face and all my facial expressions, because I'm definitely tired of it. But I'll try to do this again, because it wasn't that bad, surprisingly. But I hope to do an episode a week. We're gonna see how that goes, because I be lazy and don't feel like doing it. But tune in for the next one.